One, yes. Now we are recording. Were you ready?
Oh, come on! No, I was not ready. I was going to say a very distasteful joke real quick, but whatever. Hi guys, welcome to the shit show.
Well, it's not late at night, so it's not, sleepyhead ramblings, but close enough.
It's art ramblings. That's debatably even worse.
Oh no.
So, a little bit of clarification that can only come from moi, sadly reticent. Can't speak about this. Only me. I'm kidding, of course. I have a friend. On my channel, Itsuko Neko, I do decent speed paints and mediocre animation. Which the second one actually comes from a comment on one of my first animations. They're like mediocre at best, and I said thanks. This is my first one. I took it like a champ. I have some speed paints of my friend Dishwasher Safe's characters. And recently, Dishwasher Safe has made a post saying that they have some problems with feeling motivated to draw some of their characters. And we have a character here that is Dishwasher Safe's, which Dishwasher Safe loves fan art, so that's what I am doing. But I challenged Dishwasher Safe to an art duel where she had these list of characters, and I said the one that pumps out the most of these wins and can demand a prize from the loser, which is most likely art related because we're both broke. And so I then solicited Redizen here into joining the art campaign solely because she also had some art block, and that's what we're doing. It's what we're doing. We're actually, Redizen and I are drawing the same character. I'm not sure what Dishwasher is doing right now, to be honest, but Dishwasher Safe is doing some other stuff. And so...
Yeah, and that is our friend. You didn't get it. Their nickname is Dishwasher Safe.
Yes, Dishwasher Safe.
Fuck that up. I'm sorry.
There's been some developments in Dishwasher's life, and we are doing our best to support and acclimate properly. So we might make a mistake here or there, but we are doing our best. Which is all Dishwasher has asked of everyone in their life, which is good. Always good to make what you want in your life aware to those that matter in your life. Very good. And so Dish is our friend. I've known Dish for a number of years now. Met with Dish only a few times because we're broke. If that wasn't clear. What size was this one? I accidentally adjusted the size of my eraser. And of course I've done fan art already of Dish's characters. And so I was hoping that this duel would help motivate Dish. But that duel was issued yesterday, so there's still some time to do this stuff. I don't know how long this whole competition is actually going on, but yeah.
Maybe you should establish that. You like my background?
I do. I saw you cheating.
I'm not cheating.
I'm kidding.
I'm just
the
using
program
the tool.
Gives me stamps. I can use them.
Yeah.
I know.
And they're beautiful stamps too, so they work very well with each other.
Yeah. And so
And a little blending of purple, and I added some blues this for the space a little bit, and some purples. I try to keep the purples of her original background.
Yeah. But Reticent and I had already started our project, obviously. And while Red was playing some very nice music in the background, I still felt a little too awkward, so I started, just talking out my ass as I usually do, and decided this would be a good opportunity to propose we put up our podcast, record something for podcast, and Red isn't agreed, so this is why you don't get to see the beginning of Reticent's art. Mine is on my phone, so
Nah, this is a good start. You get the sketch start.
you get the sketch start.
Oh no.
But I solicited Reticent into this because I also have a curiosity to see how well the process would go for all three of us, in the sense of Dishwasher Safe also does art on their phone, but the art that's on their phone is they start it completely in the art program on the phone, as Reticent has started her project completely on her computer with her art tablet. Whereas I do my art on paper, then I go and trace the outline and then finish it on my phone. Which, as I said, I do speed paints. The program that I use itself spits out sped up footage of my art process. And if you're into that kind of stuff, check out my channel. All my speed paints are found in the playlist Speed Paints 5 Minutes or Less. So they're fairly bite-sized, and you just get to see art kind of come to life, which I think is what most people enjoy about speed paints, in my opinion. I have like 11 subscribers though, so
It's not too bad. It's better than some who
don't say better than
do
you.
it.
Okay.
Better than me.
Me. I have apparently more people that pop in and watch my stuff than Reticent does, but Reticent has more watch hours, which just means people have watched her stuff for a consecutive amount of, well, combined amount of time of hours.
Yeah.
Whereas Reticent's videos started off being hours long, so that's cheating.
Well, not in the original beginning, but yeah, it kind of grew into hour long.
Yes.
And then it shrunk back down.
Editing. Yeah, so, but Reticent has mostly 20 to 40 minute long videos, and I have 2 to 3 minute long videos, so my watch time is significantly lower, even though more people tend to watch mine than watch hers.
Yeah. Losers.
How dare
you? How dare you? How dare you, mean mug people. Oh. Let's see what I did wrong there. Oh no! Fix it!
But this is basically just going to be Reticent doing art and me trying to vomit out as many stories and ideas and whatever I can think of for probably the entirety of this. This is this podcast / video, because it might go up on YouTube as well. I don't know.
It depends.
It depends. Maybe like our first one, it will be a failed one that we can't upload, and it will end up on YouTube yet again.
Yeah.
That was 4 hours long, and it might have been the length of it that made it so we couldn't use it.
Yeah.
perfectly fine because we had some dark humor and some serious subjects over there, and we're probably going to touch on that material again because I can't seem to filter and do art at the same time. And so I'm pretty sure I was doing art when we were doing the first podcast, so yay!
Yeah.
Yeah. But admittedly, for all y'all listening, uh I hate detail. I hate doing detail in art. I'm lazy in that sense. I spent a good portion of my life trying to learn how to draw well, but I have a complete distaste for drawing details and spending a long time on any given piece. So technically, I started this duel off with Dish on the pretense that I would be flushing out and popping out these drawings quickly because I can't handle taking a lot of time on it. So I basically think I'm going to win.
Ugly.
But then again, there is a handicap in the sense of Dishwasher Safe already has. Let's see, she already has. I believe they said that they had 2 of the characters in one piece, so 2 in one drawing, and then they were starting another one as well. So they have a handicap of 3 characters already drawn out, and I am starting off with 1. Obviously, I'm just starting out. And I do mostly individual pieces. I don't do 2 characters in one very often. And I am erasing part of the coloring I did not want to erase. So it's going to be probably just me popping out 01, 01, 01. Yeah. And so as of right now, I'm doing the coloring, but I have already basically lazily slabbed on most of the colors, and I'm just putting the colors back in line. And so a lot of erasing is going on. And eventually, when I get around to actually deciding to do my speed paints or upload my speed paints again, you'll see what I've been doing.
Yeah, you'll have to...
And this will probably only be about 30 seconds long in that video, so yay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that if you want to see Koneko's art, you would have to go to her channel, which we'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah.
Too. So if you want to go check out the speed paint, you can.
Yes. As of right now, I have done 2 profile pictures for Redison. You can see if you get to see that anyway. I have done what is a total of 3 little end card-esque drawings, I think. It was the eye one, or was that just 2?
No, you did yeah, you're right, you did 2. The eye one, and then the new we have while I'm at my desk. The boob's bigger than the other.
Fun fact, breasts and the human body in general are asymmetrical, so they're not actually the same size. One side will always be bigger than the other. So I just throw that out there if anyone feels like one side is lopsided. But personally, my mother literally has one breast that is like significantly larger than the other one, not slightly, significantly. She had to have some surgery, and lost a bit of mass, if you will. So I say that to make her feel a little less sad. It doesn't work. It never works.
I don't know, because she's curved at an angle and I'm kind of...
Switching it back and forth definitely helps with helping spot some oddities. Flip it again. Yeah, the only thing I would do is probably bring in the shape a little bit with the side that the arm is out where star is. But only a little bit, not too much, because like you said, she's sitting at an angle. So one's going to be like full on straight towards the viewer, and the other one's going to be pointed out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. Like I said, I hate details, and I hate taking a long time to do something. So, and it's not even... No, that should be fine. Actually, it's fine because it's if take away the color or do it transparent it or something, whatever you just did. That I'm good at art, I swear, guys. I know what I'm doing. Because no, don't take away the lines. We need the lines. Make the purple outfit transparent a little bit. Don't make it go away, but make it transparent. Do you know how to do that? Okay. See how... Okay, a little more. Okay, see how the color is over the lining? That's what I didn't know. So that's fine, unless you're referring to how the breasts are saggy a little bit differently. Which one was your concern?
There's a gap between her chest and there, so meh.
Yes. No, that's fine. It's all fine then. It's all in your head. Just clean up the color lines like what I'm doing right now, and it'll look better. I swear. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
If not, I'll make art for your channel.
I'll make art for you more.
Yeah, I did some one animation for Reticent. I don't like it though, so it's not going to get included in anything. Did happen to make it to being part of the podcast setup though. It's like the podcast's picture, profile picture or something. So it wasn't completely useless. And it was good practice as well. Trying a new art program around for animation, but that one's also not working out for me. It turns out some of these applications for my phone, because that's all I have, they want money, and same, but I don't got any, so that's not working out. One of the programs wants me to give it money so that I can use more than three layers, which I like having all my layers nice and neat and separate and whatnot. So I wanted to do shading on the animation I started, but I also wanted to try to do a background on the animation I started. And either I have to do the shading on the same layer as I have the base color, which I hate the idea of, or I do the background on that layer and have the shading a layer higher, which is what I prefer. I'm just unhappy all around, to be honest. I can't win right now, and that's what's stressing me out, because the other application that I was using for the animations would let me use as many layers as I wanted. But, as Red knows, because she had to listen to me cry about it, it'll randomly just eat my projects it'll say there was an error or something went wrong or something like that, and then delete my project completely when I go to save it.
Yeah.
Which,
Sucks.
what I usually do, yes, it sucks. What I usually do is after I work on it so much, I'll back out and then I'll make a copy of the project and then I'll delete one of the earlier copies of it. So there's always 2 copies of the project. But this other animation app I was using that only lets me do 3 layers it's just better, I guess. It's less awkward to use than the one that lets me use as many layers as I want, but also wants me to sacrifice my projects to it. I do have, yeah, I do have a third application. So essentially, I have 3 different animation apps on my phone, and none of them make me happy. I do have a third animation application on my phone. I refuse to look at a tutorial on how to use it, so I still don't know how to use it. Which I might just start a project on that one and see how that goes and learn how to properly use the damn thing. But I'm lazy, so we'll see how far that goes. I have been told I am complacent. I'm okay with things that are going on, even if it's mildly, infuriating. But it has to be only mildly because, as you guys probably don't know right now, but you're about to hear about this story. Back where Red and I met each other, back at lovely Job Corps of a unspecified state. There's multiple Job Corps in most states, so suck it. We met at this Job Corps. We had our little friend group, and so at one point we decided, hey, we're edgy enough to do this. Let's try to figure out which sin we all are, which one we specifically are, and could not double up on sins. So no, we couldn't have multiple people be lust or whatever. Yeah, I call you out, Red.
Rude.
And things had to be a bit more specific than the basic sin for certain people. Like for Redizen over here, everyone else basically put her up as the sin of lust, but not because she was lustful as much as people lusted for her.
Bastards.
Right? She wasn't very happy about it, as it turns out. But it was true, and she didn't quite fit in any other category of sin. Because Redizen was a good girl. Okay, you weren't, but shut up.
I had my phases. I made my mistakes. I have learned my lessons, and I have grown the fuck up.
Grown the fuck up?
I've grown the fuck up. There you go. That's English, right?
I like grown. I grown up on this side of the city. So good. English is my strong suit.
English is my strongest.
And let's see, we have the friend group was sketchy.
Huh?
Oh, is Grumpy up?
Yes. 1 second.
Not right now. Are we stopping? Yes.
You can continue, Alyssa. I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
How dare you use my name? So, I'm gonna just check. So what ended up happening was we had a friend group of, and using nicknames mostly because we don't want to disclose too much information of these specific. Um, have Takai, which is the Japanese word for tall and expensive, and loud. Takai ended up with envy, I believe. Um, and then we had our lovely little Fussles, which she got gluttony because she could eat and she loved to eat. Um, and then we had Okami no Kiba, which his other nickname was Baka no Kuso. One was Wolf's Fang and the other one's Idiot's Shit. He, what did he get? I think he got Sloth, just because, in all honesty, he's kind of slow. He's just was. Then we have Hitori, which means person, and he got Greed, which, so many layers to that joke. So many little layers. And then there's Koneko, moi, and I got Wrath because I was a hothead, very much so. Still am, kind of. I've calmed down, I swear. A little bit, says Hitori. A little bit. And so we got these nicknames, which were fairly accurate. I mean, I don't know what started this conversation off, to be honest. I got too distracted with trying not to hear Reticent talk about her personal stuff. She should have muted her mic. She didn't. I have no idea what I was talking about. Do you know what I was talking about?
What was that?
No, okay, I'm lost. I'm sorry, guys. We're talking about sins, and I forgot what I started off doing that. Oh well. Sue me. Put me down. I'm sad again. Job Corps was wild, by the way. If you ever wanted to put a bunch of people with hormones of high schoolers with the mentality of elementary schoolers, go to a Job Corps. It was a very problematic place when you really think about it, because Job Corps is set up for 16
Failure.
to like 24-year-olds. Unless you have like a disability, then you can go at any age to a Job Corps, which is even more troubling when you think about it.
Almost. Not exactly any age, but
No, that's what that's
there
what
was.
it says. Like if you were like I can't remember what specific handicaps, but it's basically said it's any age of you. Because we did have that one person that was like, what, 30?
Yeah.
30. Yeah. That's pretty freaking old.
Yeah, but he was also working while on a on his weekend. Oh, wrong purple. His weekend pass and stuff. So he was, still doing stuff while he was just trying to get his life together. He had a special case and scenario that
Yeah.
they helped him out be able to get his life back in order and together.
Yeah, I was just saying that there's special cases. Usually it's if you're handicapped one way, like, you can be there later than that, but that was problematic. The other problem is, Red, do you know why I started talking about sins? The sins?
Because you said that uh, that we had a small clique group and they all decided on our sins.
No, we all did. No one got to really choose their sin, that much. I chose mine, but everyone, it was like a unanimous agreement because I knew I was a hothead. I feel like I was forgetting one of the sins, but I can't.
There's only 7.
There's 7. So we had Takai, envy. We had Fossils, gluttony. We had Okami no Kiba as sloth. We had me as wrath, you as lust, and Hitari as greed.
Yeah.
That's 6.
You
So we
got
didn't have enough friends, okay?
lust, wrath, envy, greed, pride. Who's pride?
Pride. We didn't. La Janice.
Yeah.
But he wasn't quite in the friend group. He was just my friend that everyone didn't feel very comfortable around. Yeah, so yeah, pretty pride right there. So yeah, we didn't quite have enough friends, but we did have someone that would fit in there. He just wasn't really part of our friends group.
Not like we were exactly, friendos in the beginning either. It took us.
It took us a very complicated set of events, and then even more complicated set of events later on, and then even more complicated set of. So I also have a Reddit account. That's going very well in the sense of I don't really post anything, and I wanted to do Reddit readings, and I can't read worth shit. So, as I said, it's not really going anywhere.
Practice why we play spooky games.
This is why you practice with what? Kaneko does not practice. But I do have a Reddit account, and I made some posts to r/nice guys stories because I got a few, not very popular, but I got a few. And I post about one of the complicated situations that brought us together, with the nickname of the nice guy being Nev. I'm creative because it's not really that much of a nickname. But basically, it was one of the problems that Job Corps setup presented, which was 2. 1, there was a ridiculous gender ratio of
yeah?
3 to 1.
There was only one girl's dorm.
3 times. Yeah, 1 girl's dorm, 3 guys' dorms. Yeah. So there was about 3 times the amount of guys to girls.
Yeah.
The other part is that 16, and sometimes in special cases 15, to 24 years old. No, there was. I heard that they did have 1 15-year-old pop up.
No.
But it was a special case.
No, they're not allowed
not
at all 15-year-olds at all. That's just pedory that will happen. No,
I meant to go to Job Corps.
Yeah, but no,
they had a special case to go to, but not general. It was 16, and so one of the things is that, and they abolished this for our Job Corps, which was sad. Within the first 48 hours or so, none of the guys could get near the girls' dorm because they had a thing called rookie chasers, which rookies are the term for anyone who just arrived first. I want to say, what was the input? Every
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, so every 2 weeks there was a potential for new rookies to come in. So rookies, you were a rookie for about 2 weeks, and then you were just someone that was still considered new.
Well, you're a rookie for until 6 months. 6 months, you're past the rookie phase.
But that's so long.
Yeah, but that's what
That's what they as the center, or they as in
the center.
Okay, so I guess you're a rookie for a long time, but the prime rookie chasing thing was 2 weeks, because then fresh meat would arrive, and you would be kind of old news, kind of. Unless you're Redison.
Oh.
My
Run
phone
away.
is slow down. And so the guys wouldn't be allowed near the girls' dorm for the first 2 days to try to stop rookie chasers from picking up the girls while around the dorm. Didn't stop them from doing it, in the dining hall or anywhere else, but you'd just be more frowned upon.
Well, actually, they had rookie chasing, kind of like, what is it? The girls had a bubble, a 48-hour bubble around them.
Not when I was going to the dining hall.
Not when you were there. When
I'm just saying.
I was there.
No, I mean, the bubble was for the dorm itself.
No, I had a bubble around me. Like, no guys were allowed around me when I first got there.
Yeah, because when you got there, you were what?
Jailbait.
Jailbait. You were 16. You were stuck there for like 2 years, weren't you?
Yeah, because my mom requested it.
Ew. Well, anyway, so lovely Redison arrived there when she was 16, and so there's a lot of problems that can pop up. And the clarification for this is that the age of consent is 16 years old, but if the parents of the 16-year-old, which is still considered a minor, even to 17, don't like anyone that is trying to date their child, not just daughter, but child, that is under the age of 18, they can still slap on statutory, and you still are considered, and you can get it. What?
It'd be considered a sex offender, but yeah.
I am trying not to use keywords that's going to get flagged on YouTube right now with this specific story. You prick. Yes, you would be. It would be put on your record as you being a sex offender. The technicality be damned. So, by all technicality, 16, age of consent, yay, yay, yay. But still, you have 20-year-olds basically potentially going after 16-year-olds. Because I believe the average age was 18 to 20, I think, was what most of the ages were. So
you could go to Job Corps when you're 25. It's 16 to 25.
You're not listening.
No, I'm not.
I already told them it's actually 24, but you could turn 25. 24 was the minimum you could go to it. Or the maximum you could go to it. What I was saying is that I'm pretty sure the average age of everyone that was there, like the typical age they went there, was anywhere from 18 to 20. And there was some problems where they wouldn't let the 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds leave until they turned 18. Like in Redison's case, more or less.
Well, I had a parent request it, so.
Well, Fussels couldn't leave either.
Yeah.
Fussels wanted to go to advanced, and she couldn't leave until she turned 18, and then she was at Job Corps for too long, and they refused to let her go to advanced.
Yeah.
So that was the other bullshittery going on. They would refuse to let you go, and then when you could finally go and you wanted to continue learning the trade, they would deny you because you'd been at a Job Corps for too long.
Yeah, I just bombed my advanced training test.
You're like, fuck it.
So there was some. So just.
Well, that too.
In math and reading, so.
Yeah. So, back to the story. So this person, Nev, would hit on Red when she first arrived, which shockingly enough, apparently, one of Red's turn-offs is potential pedophiles. So
Perfect.
go figure that basically she didn't like the idea of people that are this particular person being over the age of 20 hitting on a 16-year-old. She did not like that. And so she basically, from that point on, was not interested in Nev. But boy, does Nev refuse. There's a reason why he's in Nice Guy Stories. He refused to, one, let it the fuck go and let Red have her fucking preferences, because she also, at the time, had physical preferences, which he did not fit. Not that he was, bad in any. Nev had a lot of my preferences, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yes.
Anyway, he wouldn't let Red be, and so Red at one point decided, I'm just going to use someone as bait, so he will leave me alone. If I use another female that is into the same thing Nev likes, he'll leave me alone.
Kept asking
Hey,
me.
Koneko!
He kept asking me if I knew someone too.
Well, he was trying to find someone to hook up with, and that ship had already set sail with me. But so Red just goes, yeah, I have someone. Here's Koneko. I'm going to introduce you guys. And we're both like, oh, we know each other. Woo! Spicy. My whole thing was that I was trying to get over someone else, so it was like a rebound kind of situation. And I wanted to just, have that emotional connection and have it practically immediately. I didn't want to wait around to get to know each other, which I know is a red flag. I already freaking know. Not a problem. I've kind of grown up from that. Kind of. I needed validation. And he wanted to wait around. As it turns out, and this was in a conversation between Nev and me a while later. He would do favors for women, and then he would just wait around for them to go, oh, you helped me out, I'm going to date you. Every nice guy never worked. So I was just like, oh, and this is how he earned his name. Oh, so you're a woman collector. You're collecting all these women, making a list of who you've helped, with alternative motives, obviously. And because he mentioned that he bought like plane tickets for this one chick so she could go see her family, and was waiting for her to realize how good of a person he was and date him instead of, as all nice guys say, instead of the assholes. And so with Red, he would kept making, these, he says they're jokes, but kept going, so when are we gonna go out? Or so when are you gonna, go out with me, hook up with me,
He
blah
didn't
blah
even
blah.
help me with anything at all.
No, she was hot, and he was just like, yeah, we're friends, so you should totally want to have sex with me, right? Yeah. Which I will say for Redison, this is sad news, and she might be upset when I say, she sucks at being very firm for people to leave her the fuck alone. That's
He
where
pushed
my
me
rap
to a point.
Well,
but
he never got to that point, because everything was just, I'm just joking, or I know, but maybe, and he just kept fucking ignoring what she was saying. And what she was saying was, I'm not interested in you for these specific reasons. I want you to be my friend, and that is all. I am not going to change these specific reasons, and there is no chance we're going to hook up.
yeah.
But he just thought, she's playing hard to get, which is like one of the rapiest things I could ever think someone would say. like if
See my
that
mistake
is
there.
something you've already set up with someone, you know, like I like it when you play hard to get, so this is our little thing. That's different than she's just playing hard to get, even though she told me very specific reasons that I could not change because I already did it in the past, or will not change, or just cannot change. He could not grow another fucking 6 inches to fit her, at the time, height requirement, if you will. She just liked tall boys at the time. It's all good. Um, and whatnot. And he just wouldn't take the hint and just find someone else to fucking bombard, which I almost helped him with because I had a friend who was also kind of looking for a relationship but wanted someone that, you know, she could actually bond with. So someone who was into anime, someone who was into video games, basically, you know, Nev. But when I introduced her into the chat, I gave this person 2 very specific warnings. 1, Red and I are platonic lovers, and we will make comments that are rather inappropriate. And if it makes you uncomfortable, let us know. We will tone it down. Also, this is whatever his username was at the time. He's kind of a flirt, but he mostly flirts with Red. But what Nev didn't know is that that friend of mine loved flirtatious men. So what I was doing was actually a very good thing. But he got mad because I was mentioning that he was flirting with Red, in which he was like, I wasn't, they were all jokes, you wouldn't know what flirting was, blah, blah, blah. And it's between me and Red, it's none of your business, except for the fact that at the time Red would be coming to me and going, he won't leave me alone.
Help me.
I'm not interested in him, and he's just in such denial, and he won't leave me alone. And so that pissed me off. So any chance I could, I'd get snippy and bitchy and petty and make comments like, she's not fucking interested in you, whenever he would flirt with her. So awful me. I do admit I
She's
was
into
bad.
me. That's what
She's more, I think I made a comment, she's more into me than she is to you.
I think you did. Oh my gosh.
So mean. I got pissed off at him because he wouldn't join any chat, that he wouldn't chat with me when I would try to chat with him. He would only join the chat if Redism was in the chat. And so I called him out, and then we had that fight, and so I was like, she's not interested in you, and she wants you to stop trying to get with her. As simple as that. And so he was like, it was none of my business. And I'm like, well, she's been telling me about it, and she wants me to help her out with it. So now it is my business. And he straight up went, well, that's your guys' problem.
Well, it's becoming your problem real quick.
And the irony is that I still have that conversation, like on my Discord. So, if anyone wants evidence. I will admit, like I said, I was wrathful and I was petty, and I didn't handle anything very properly back then because I had a lot of issues that never got resolved until later. But I did make it very clear, and he just didn't. He was in such denial that Red wasn't interested in him, truly. And so he basically went, I'm not your husband. I'm not Hithodi, and I don't have to deal with your bullshit. And so basically it was like, we were never going to be friends because he couldn't get in my pants. So he didn't want me as a friend because he couldn't get in my pants. And that really shows, because you can have married friends. Who gives a shit if you're not going to be able to, get laid because they're married? You can still be friends with people that are married, but he didn't want to because he had ulterior motives. And at the time, Red was single. Now she's not, but he would still probably try to fuck up that relationship to get his way.
My relationship will
put
fuck
money
him
down
up.
Yeah.
So
And so then he basically unfriended me and Redison, and
instant.
instantly all the problems was resolved on our end. He still has a problem of being a fucking creep. Yeah.
Yeah. Loner for life.
And so that was Nev, the woman collector. Nice guy. What a shame. Because I like me some healthy chunky boys, and he was tall and chunk. It was beautiful, but he had a shit personality. So, oh well.
You know, life moves on.
Yep. So that was that. The other one, that was personal, and I'm not talking about that one. There was 3 instances. Oh yeah, I Cat Mom that nickname I come by honestly because Kaneko means kitten, and I'm a mother. It's not a bit. I'm a mom.
I'm a mom.
And so while we were still not hanging out at Job Corps, I got pregnant with my oldest, and as not being used to, because I'd never been around that many pregnant women, I wasn't. Oddly enough, I wasn't allowed to be close to my aunt when she was pregnant because I don't know.
I don't know. You know, issues.
I really don't know. So I wasn't used to the whole thing, and at one point, I was always exhausted. But at one point, I was just like, oh my god, my boobs are like on fire. They're really fucking hot. And Fossils and Red were like, yeah, whatever. I'm sure they are. Boobs are always hot. Duh. And I'm like, no, these are hot. And they're like, yeah, I get it. Fuck. Good for you. And I went, no, and I grabbed their hands. I forced them to feel me up, which this entire thing was very inappropriate, and I didn't. But this wasn't, anything for me to get gratification out of. I was just like, you guys need to feel these. And they're like, oh shit, those are really hot.
Yeah, but toasty.
They were toasty. Which Heat 30 will never live down. It's like I missed out on it because Heat 30 ran off to join the military around before that happened. So he wasn't on center anymore. What a shame.
Well, sucks to be you, bud.
I don't know why I grabbed some of my editing cereal. I'm not going to eat it.
Grabbing material.
Yeah, and the last time that Red entered my life again is something I don't want to talk about, so I'm not going to. But then, of course, we end up with the 4th and latest reason of why I and Redison are together forever now. I had money issues, and Redison didn't like editing her videos, so originally I was like, hey, pay me $5 an hour and I'll edit your shit. I'm fine with that. And she's like, no, I'll pay you more.
I'll pay you more.
So that was nice. And
nice.
So, yeah, he's a nice boss. So I lastly came in to help edit, and I think I'm doing decently.
There's always room for improvement, but I like her editing. Makes me laugh.
Yes. She also confided in me that I'm the funniest host with her, co-host, whatever.
Yes.
Which you guys think I'm boring as fuck. You should see the other guys. But they're just not. They're not as good with the commentary and keeping stuff going. They just kind of start a project and then they don't want to get distracted from it, so they don't keep up with the banter that is needed. Whereas I am 98% banter, so if I even feel slightly bored, I will start talking about something.
Or singing.
I think Reticent can agree.
Or
singing, yeah, or singing. You'll never hear our true singing voices, by the way.
Never.
Yeah. Oh, I did that on the wrong layer. Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
I was patching up color work and I did it on the wrong layer. I did it on skin tone layer. It's not the layer where the hair is. Okay. I undid everything, so I get to redo it now. Yeah. But I've been trying to draw since I was 11 years old, and I am 23. And I'm only just getting good at it. You know, the rest was like, oh, a little interesting. Oh, it's all right. You're getting some of the concepts down, but now I feel more confident in my art. Still am terrible at doing comics, so that's great. Considering that I have like 4 of them that I am avoiding. Like the plague, I am avoiding it like the Rona right now. Sadness. But yeah, I tried to have my I have, like I said, 2 older brothers. I tried to have my oldest brother, the only one that I give a shit about at this point in my life. Have him give me art lessons, and his immediate reaction, was, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do art lessons. Draw me something, and I'll figure out how I can help you." Which, when anyone else asked me for art lessons, that's immediately what I would say to them: "Draw me something the best you can, and we'll take it from there." Which is a fair thing to say, because it's basically like, let me gauge you on what abilities you have, what you have a good grasp of, and then I can expand on it. Always give your students a potential to show you what they're good at and what they would like to learn. Always a good idea. So I drew my thing for my oldest brother. And in brotherly fashion, he goes, "Oh, that's shit." I said my drawing was awful.
Oh my gosh.
And that there's a lot he needed to teach me. And I was enthusiastic. But after a while, it wore on me, because every time I would draw something, he was like, you're doing better, but it's still shit. And so eventually I was like, fuck this. I'm going to learn on my own. I'm going to learn through books and guides and whatever. This is back before the internet was really, very much. And I could say that, kind of. It was at least back when everyone that I knew was just using it to play RuneScape.
Right.
And watch YouTube. Yeah. Weren't using it for very much other than that. And so I spent quite a while just doodle-oodling around. And everything, at least when I lived with my mother, because my mother and my father were divorced, and then I lived with one and then the other. Living with my mother, everything seemed pretty fair, to be honest, in the sense of, if any of us had an interest in anything, we all wanted to be participating in that one thing, so that in a way we'd be on even grounds with each other, even though our skill level would be different. So we all loved art. We all wanted to do art, and so we all pursued art, mostly the same style. And what I found out was my oldest brother had the most control. He had the most skill. He was just really good at art, and he still is. He doesn't draw as much, but he's pursuing his other dream, which is basically going to anime conventions and taking pictures there, for his job, which is no different than you pursuing YouTube for your dream job. So my oldest brother always had that more passion for that kind of, or more passion and drive than I ever did on anything. So that's what he's kind of doing, but he was always better with the control and with skill, and he could doodle something out, like something that would take me a solid 20 minutes to figure out how he did. He would do it in like 10 seconds, and it would look great. And my other brother, my older brother, he was the detail one. His art wasn't as good as my oldest, but he always put more detail into it to make up for that. I did none of these things. I wasn't good at art, and I wasn't good at detail. I had that go get 'em attitude. Any chance I could, I'd be trying to draw something. I guess you could say I was also a bit more creative. I had more of the imagination, but just a lot less of the drive to actually make my creations a reality. And I still don't. But now at least I've gotten up the, whatever you want to call it, gotten it up to go and say, well, I am too lazy to draw characters out an original and put a lot of detail in it, but I want to practice detail, so I'm going to ask my friends if I can draw some of their characters so I can practice the more detailed, because they also do more detail than me, but I don't have to try to mind-numbingly put these details in originally when I feel like drawing something. So that's why Dish and I have the relationship of, do you want me to draw this? Well, sure, if you want to, but I'm not going to just, I'm not asking you specifically. If you want to, go ahead. And I exploit that heavily. Because Dish has more of the, horror, gore, not quite grotesque, but, unsettling would be it. Unsettling character designs. Like this one, who has way too many fucking eyes and no mouth. I'm still trying to figure out how this creature even, exists. Nutrients. How is it living? I don't know, but it's beautiful. She consumes gases through her eyes because she also has no nose.
Yeah, maybe she leaks through her eyes. You never know.
I bet it's the big ones on the side.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. I guess I'm still not good at this talkie thing. Still.
I'm immersed. Oh,
Immersed.
it's the wrong color. Damn it.
Haha. So immersed that you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Hee hee. Red is so silly. Haha. Hee hee. Hoo hoo. Hilly hilly. Dear Lord, I need a hard eraser. Hard eraser at a 3, please. But we would get into music and we'd all do the same thing. As much as elementary school choir can be, I was in elementary school choir, and so was with my older brother. And then we went into the this other thing which only fifth graders could do. Oh, sorry, this is elementary school choir, right? Only fifth graders were allowed to enter this other thing called the instrumental group, where you play. I have to back up even further. So my elementary school, you know, the one with the back lot that is supposedly haunted and is only a hop, skip, and a jump from the alligator farm. This place, every year they had a big performance, I guess, around, it was around Christmas. And so they had fourth and fifth graders in the choir, and sometimes a little younger, but fourth and fifth graders in choir, and fifth graders in instrumental group, which instrumental group was playing all the other instruments other than, you know, your fucking throat.
Yeah.
And so this was also poor planning on their hand, because the school colors was like a dark red and white. So not a lot of places or brands sell red pants. So you had a bunch of fourth and fifth graders wearing white fucking pants.
Perfect.
Bad idea, by the way. It's very hard for them to realize how hard it is to keep certain things, certain colors, and if they're like me and my brother, we like to dig in the dirt. We'd like make little canals and dig gigantic holes in the dirt. So that my mom hated. So one thing my mom hated and would not stop complaining about, why were you digging in the dirt again? You are gonna have sand in your hair for years. Well, don't put baby oil in my hair then. That's a completely different thing. I'm sorry. Anyway, so my brothers and I were both in choir and instrumental group, and we did everything equally. With my father, everything was just weirder. Like there was no pleasing my father for me, but then my brothers would think my father was going too easy on me, which was a bizarre kind of thing to think of, because literally I could do nothing right. But, you know, and they could do whatever they wanted. Despite me being the same like grade, but just a little younger than one of my brothers, I couldn't do everything he was allowed to do. But we were in the same grade, and thus that implies that we at least had to have the same maturity, even just in society's kind of eyes, so that we would be technically able to do the same things. But I just wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. Even as an adult, I still wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. Like when I still lived with my father, I was not allowed to have a TV or game system in my room. But my brothers had a gigantic TV and like 2 different game systems in their room. All I was allowed to have was a radio, CD player thing. It was absurd.
Very.
Well, there were some other things that I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah.
That I guess they justified why, but as an adult, at 18 years old, if I wanted to have certain things in my room, I should have been able to. And I wasn't. I wasn't even allowed to borrow anything to put in my room for a little bit. That was absurd. It just did, everything was just, the fun was kind of drained out of it when it came to going to live with my father. Like, there was no competitive spirit anymore. There was just spite. I wanted to learn Japanese, partly because, you know, my oldest brother learned it, but also because I just thought Japanese was pretty fucking neat. And if I was going to learn a language, why not that one?
Yeah, why not?
But, my father had to have his way. The only reason why I was learning Japanese was because my oldest brother knew Japanese, but learning Japanese would have been a waste of my time, so I shouldn't bother doing it.
Ooh, Danny.
Now, my brain doesn't seem to have the capacity to actually retain anything I teach myself. But the passion was something that shouldn't have been downplayed. Even if you think, oh, my kid is never going to use it, if they're passionate about something, you shouldn't squash that passion. They'll just have to learn that, oh, it just didn't work out, and that's a little disappointing, but it's at least, at least my parents were fucking supportive of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that, really. Not with my father. With my mother, it was a bit more apparent. But not with my father. It feels like any opportunity he could to try to put me down a peg, he took. And that is just disgusting, to be plainly honest. And so then it was me wanting to learn Japanese was a waste of my time. Me doing art was a waste of my time. And then, me writing stories, because I also wanted to write stories, that was a waste of my time. Every hobby I had was a waste of my time to my father, because I probably wasn't going to financially benefit from it, so there was no point in having that hobby. And that's not what hobbies are. You don't have to financially benefit from something to enjoy it, which is a concept my father never could and probably never will understand. And it's fucking disgusting. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. Had you not tell, I have daddy issues in the sense of I cut him out of my fucking life.
Perfect.
And I have no hesitation from cutting out any family member in my fucking life, to be honest. No matter how much I love them, if they fuck me over, I will not hesitate to remove them from my life. Like Lajanice, for example, he was not really a family member per se, but he was probably the best brotherly influence I could kind of admit to having. Aside from the fact that he was sexually interested in me.
Yeah.
Which is a different issue. But I guess he just wasn't used to having someone that would just be there for him, no matter what. And so he abused the ever-loving crap out of it. He tried to make it so I would not pay attention to one of my children, and he just wanted me to pay attention to him, which was never going to happen. I refused, and he threw a whole fucking kind of fit over it, passive aggressively, because that's what type of person he was. And eventually he kept talking about this very toxic person in his life that I did not want in my life. I just, I was still dealing with stressful stuff, and I still am. It's the same stuff, to be honest. Nothing's really changed. My life is hell. Red is not.
Thank you for clarifying. I'm not hell.
Yeah. So the problem was that he wanted me to go and lie to this person in his life so that she would pay attention to him. and he would ask me to do this multiple times, and I've made it it made me very uncomfortable because, contrary to most of the people who think they know me, I don't lie, and I don't like lying. It's just not something I like, and I think it's a complete waste of time to lie to someone, because eventually the truth's going to come out, and what are you going to do? Lie again? You think they're really going to trust you after that? They don't have to, and they shouldn't, because you're proven not to be trustworthy. And so I refused to lie to this person anymore. And I didn't want to hear any more about their toxic relationship, because I was going through a few of my own, and I don't need extra bullshit. Vent if you want, but don't try to include me into your extra bullshit, was basically what I was trying to tell him. And it wasn't just venting for him. It was always, do this for me. Because, because I'm your big brother. So eventually I was like, okay, either you stop trying to hook up with this chick. You stop telling me about all the times you hook up with this chick and what she's doing to piss you off and hurt you and shit. Or just get out of my fucking life. I can't handle this anymore. Pretty honest and fair shit, in my opinion. But he was angry because I was forcing him to choose, and he didn't think he had to choose. And so I went, okay, you won't get out of my life, or you won't choose to have a friend over someone who's just using you, obviously, was one of his complaints. Then I'm going to have to cut you out of my life because I can't handle this. And so eventually I actually applied to a job somewhere, and I was just like, oh, well, I applied before we had this falling out, so you can either be the reference or not, I don't care. And he's just like, why would you choose me if you're just gonna treat me like trash? I'm like, as I said, you were already a reference on that piece of paper when I applied to it before we had our falling out. It's up to you whether or not you want to help me get a job or not. And so he just tried to guilt trip me because I forced him to choose and he didn't have to choose. And I was just like, no, I don't need this. You're still clearly not healthy enough to include in my life. And then I haven't talked to him since.
Yeah.
But that's mostly because he then turned around and basically said, I'm going to go kill myself now. And I'm like, I was just so done. And I was upset about this afterwards because I'm not usually that cold of a person, but I just went, okay, nothing I ever said to you mattered anyway. So if this is you trying to get a response of a no, don't, please, you have so much to live for from me, it never really mattered to you what I said. All you ever did was lie and manipulate anyway. So I just kind of don't believe you, and equally kind of don't care. Do what you want to do. That's what you always do. And then they went on to their fake Facebook account and basically said what they were going to do, and then disappeared for a while. And then that account sent me some spam shit, and I was just like, don't send me, pass this on to so many other people to show you care. Don't send me that stuff. My family already knows not to send me that stuff, and they still do. But that's the last time I heard from what I can suppose is him. But I cut him out of my life because he was too unhealthy and I couldn't handle it anymore. He wanted me, huh?
And this is why you have a better friend named Redison.
Better sibling, friend, lover.
Complicated relationship.
It's complicated. We do inappropriate pickup lines, but we're also like sisters to each other. Rah. That's what a best friend is, right? Rah. So, no hesitation, really. I mean, it took me a while to get around to doing it because I did care, so I guess there was a hesitation. But when my mind was made up, there was no hesitation and there was no faulting backwards. I just fucking did it because that's what had to happen. And it was a long time coming, to be honest. Not to be too plain, but a lot of the people who were his friends cut him out of their life because he just, for various reasons, really, but one of them was that he was just unhealthy. He was quite spiteful, he was manipulative, and just unhealthy. I mean, when I started going out with Hitodi, all he did was start going out. He basically went, "What, you're dating him?" And I'm like, "I guess, yeah, recent development, but yeah." He's like, "Well, now you'll never know how I felt about you," and I'm like, "What? What is that even about?" Because I knew someone like this person, and they were just they did not want a serious relationship except with the one person he wanted it with, and all he wanted was an easy lay, basically, and I didn't want to have that kind of relationship again. So I just kind of went neat to all of the jokes and hints that person was doing, that La Janice was doing. I just kind of ignored it because I was like, I'm not really interested in that. And so to turn around and go, "You'll never know how I feel," when all you were doing was like shallow pickup lines. Like, if you wanted an actual relationship, maybe you shouldn't have just made it seem like you were joking all the fucking time. Like you were just trying to hit on me, like casually all the fucking time. Because I wasn't responding to that. Like,
Yeah.
there's at some point, if a method's not working and you're sincere about this person, not just trying to hook up with them, if you sincerely want to be with this person and be more than friends and actually be a healthy relationship with this person, and your first method wasn't working, then maybe you should try a different method that is still a healthy method. No manipulation, just be as genuine as you want your feelings to come across. And so, like, I don't feel any blame on that end. It was just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And the only thing that made me upset was how little I cared near the end. But people just get tired of that ring around when it's that toxic. And I'll never check up on him because all that's doing is inviting more toxicity.
Yep.
I mean, I would talk to him more frequently than I talked to Red over all those years. Because it was a few years in between. It was like I just cut him out of my life, last year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So from 2014 to 2019, we had been friends. And it was really just near the end there, he was. I can't confirm any of these things because, I don't have him in my life anymore and I wasn't going to do like Sherlock Holmes level of investigation, but he would claim, he he had cancer and he had the specific STD that was like very rare, and and this and that, and just wanted all this attention because he was constantly homeless or almost homeless, or he was with roommates that were drunkards that were abusive, and there was always something where he'd pop back into my life and talk about it to me, which was, that part was fine, but I couldn't confirm half of that. And then he would just use a bunch of it as an excuse on why I should be paying attention to him versus paying attention to what's going on in my life. I don't need help to procrastinate in my life. I do that very well.
Do that all
But
good by myself.
yeah, but I wasn't trying to procrastinate these things. I was trying to figure them out, and it was stressing me out, sure, but I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't pretend it wasn't happening, and that's what he wanted to do, was have me pretend it wasn't happening and just pay attention to him. Or as it came out when He30 and I were having some problems, he just wanted me to move in with him. And the way he phrased it was that we could share his room/bed together. And I'm like, I'm tired. Was basically what that's all it was. Is I was tired of this conversation. I was tired of the implication. I was just tired. I wasn't interested. He was an exercise, freak. He loved exercise to an extreme, just like how my mom is, where my mom thinks she's fat and she's like fucking skinny. She has, that extra healthy, flap of skin or here and there because she is my mom, so she's significantly older than what she once was. So in my mind, she looks very healthy. She takes care of her body is all, but she thinks she's fat and she needs to lose weight. And he was just like, oh, I just need to keep my muscle. I need to have my muscle. I need my muscle. And I'm like, can you just calm down? Your body is apparently struggling because you have cancer, and yeah, the cancer might eat away your muscle, but you also can't overwork your body to where you're puking up blood, apparently, because you've overworked yourself. There's a lot of issues, some stuff that didn't add up, some stuff that just I couldn't handle taking on as well as my life. And you should be able, you need to be able to identify when a person is being genuine and need your help, and when they're being toxic and just want your attention.
Yeah, we both have been through toxic friendships.
That's the other thing. I helped you with one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the first time that friend heard my voice, was like, "Oh, is that a dude?" And I'm like, I'm mad.
No, I'm mad. Who are you to say I'm a man?
And the other time was basically like, your voice sounds familiar. I can't remember who it is. And I'm like, well, you probably can't, because I can do a lot more voices than just this. And he's like, oh yeah? And I'm like, yeah, so you'll never know who I am. He's like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. I'm like, just fuck off. One toxic friendship, I basically just straight up went fuck off as well. And what ended up happening was Red was so like abused by this person that she couldn't.
I shut down. I started shutting down into that submissive phase where I was just like, well, this is life now.
Is submissive, and she couldn't refuse a call from this person. So she would answer it and then subject herself to further abuse. Where I was just like, don't you fucking answer it. And then she'd answer it and I would just go, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then I would hang up on him, where she couldn't, because she didn't have that, what it were. She just couldn't.
It was
bring herself to ignore him because it would get worse.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was. It would only get worse if she tried to ignore him.
It was kind of a similar case as how Longinus was a little bit with the whole thing is I cared.
Definitely worse. Definitely worse. Yours was worse than Longinus ever got.
Yeah.
And so I figured at that time, Red could not be blamed if someone took her phone and hung up on him. But then I instructed her how to block him and blocked him. And he would just call from a different number or a different it was actually through Facebook, or something. So it was like through a different user. And as soon as I heard his voice, I'd take the phone from her and hang up. I did not play.
I did not play.
So I came in. Well, she was helping me with something, and then I saw her needing help with something. So I tried to do a tit for tat kind of thing. But what I always feel like what she helped me with was greater than what I helped her with. So I feel kind of indebted. Still.
You're not, though.
Stop.
Stop it, Red. Not allowed to be this nice.
You're not.
Yes, I am.
But got you in trouble in some of the places you were in, man. You're too nice.
I know.
And she also was with her boy at the time, and still is. So he was able to help afterwards when I wasn't. So you can't use headphones. It's quiet. You own headphones, use them. If you know we're doing something, then stop playing the videos. Don't walk in with the video still playing. I'll be rude to you if you're rude to me and Red. You know I won't hesitate. Everyone now knows I won't hesitate. But I needed help, then she needed help, and we've just been kind of that from then on.
Yeah. There hasn't been a separation from us.
Yeah. And then we developed a sugar mama, sugar child relationship, but now that's toned down a bit. Because I now earn my keep in a way that isn't sexual. Not that it was first.
Not like it was.
Said that, not that it was in the first place.
Gosh.
It's all good. And so I can't stop myself from making terrible jokes. So that's to calm down into something more beneficial for both of us. I get to dedicate my time to something productive, and she gets to help me with my financial issues, which my financial issues is just that the job that I do have is only part-time, and obviously due to the what do I want to call it? The roaming Rona. Yeah, the roaming Rona. It is definitely just struggling a bit, so it's just helpful that she can help me with this, and I can help her with that. That being both editing and
Life itself.
this right here. How dare you, Red? Oh yeah, I did help with some more intimate parts of her life that I'm not going to disclose. I was helpful.
I was helpful.
I was helpful more so than professionals, and I'll just leave that there.
And that's all
Red
I'll
say. I'm not. Yeah, Red can say I wasn't, but that'd be a lie.
I'm not gonna say you were.
And we're moving on again. You're indebted to me, Red. Just helpful things. Very, very helpful things. I can keep up this banter for a good point, and then I kind of either lose ideas and need to look for something, or I just derail from what I was first talking about and completely forget what I was talking about. That's me in a nutshell, by the way, guys. So I hope you feel my genuineness is coming into fruition. The only other thing is I make video game, movie, and song references a lot, too much. No one understands what I'm talking about half the time.
Sorry. Almost dropped my pen.
I have a lot of stories. It's just I need to be able to remember them, if that makes sense to any of you. I need a topic that'll help me remember a story half the time. which I'm coming up empty right now.
Yeah.
Webtoons. Yeah, I need to think of something, and I can't quite think of something to talk.
Yeah, I so far just been letting you rant about everything. I just been here doodling, providing the visuals.
Provide the visuals, provide the audio. We work as a team.
And side
We are
comments.
Legion.
Oh no.
What?
What?
Um. Well, we're doing dish art, so let's have some dish times. I've only had 2 dish times, to be honest, and that's a little
Same.
sad. I assure you, Dish is a lovely person, lovely human being. A lot of issues, as we all do have.
Yeah.
But Dish has started to come out of her own. Despite the oppression she feels from some of her family members, she is taking a stance and on her overall mental health. And there are a good number of family members and friends being very supportive, and it makes me a very happy cat mom to see that. And we had 2 experiences. I might have had 3 experiences with Dish then, if that's
Yeah,
the
you
case.
have. 'Cause you were
I
with-
have.
you-
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So
I
we did.
called you one time when you were hanging out with Dish.
Okay, so I've had 3 instances with Dish, at least. Haven't had any more because of the Rona, because she does have some health concerns that she. Shit. I'm trying to be supportive. I'm sorry. Health concerns that are very valid, by the way. Nothing bad, against, going, I can't hang out with you because of this. That's fine. Very good, very appropriate, but also if you are one of those people that will go stir crazy and murder someone if they don't have a little bit of outside time, appropriate, do it appropriately. That's all I have to say. During this time specifically, and any time if you're someone who is a social one, but also have some health issues, always do it appropriately. Take necessary precautions. Be good to yourself and others. Woo. So I can't hang out with Dish, which is sad because at a time like this, I feel like I should be more supportive than just from afar. Because we live fairly close to each other. We're not, we're not downstairs neighbor, upstairs neighbor, but we're
more convenient.
That's because you want me to live with you, practically, Red. Bias. I'd be further from Dish at that point.
Yes.
And we'll resume hanging out when it's safe for her and for them and everyone else. And so one of them was the first time I met Dish. The first time I met Dish with Red.
Yeah.
We made the journey up, which by that I mean, it's about an hour, but it's a reasonable hour for where I live. It's I guess you would say a necessary hour. From where I used to live, the closest Walmart was an hour away, and that was considered a necessary, thing. If you wanted to get Walmart prices, Walmart savings, it's necessary to go an hour away. That was fine. Same kind of situation, but I don't live in that place anymore. I don't currently reside in hell. Anyway, so we hung out. We went to Fantasy for Adults. Oh my god. Sorry. Someone plopped themselves on the bed. I was not expecting. We walked around the store. I think we also walked around because it was around Halloween time. We were around the. But that was a different instance. That was a different one. We were walking around Fantasy for Adults, and she was making observations to certain things. Not going to disclose any of that. But they're a very good cosplayer, I guess. They like cutesy outfits and they like dark outfits. They're the best of both worlds, and they pull it off very well. And so we were just walking around there for a while and hanging out, and then Red and I had to leave. But it was just enjoyed meeting the elusive Koneko over the internet, because when we found out we were very, very close by each other, we were very excited and wanted to be able to see each other and hang out. And then the second time, Hitori Dish and I went and just hung out a little bit. We went to a Chinese buffet. Good stuff. Dish basically said, "Do not try the sushi there. Go to an actual sushi joint. Don't let this taint your first experience." Good friend advice. Good friend advice. And then we went to Spirit Halloween, because it was around Halloween time, and walked around there. Obsessed with this little ghost girl animatronic Dish was. Just loved it. We laughed about all of the Suicide Squad stuff because it was hilarious. Then found they had an actual not Legend of Zelda. My bad. Let's try the other one. Kingdom Hearts Keyblade. I also would have really loved a Legend of Zelda sword, which is, I think, something I grumbled about while over there, which is why it popped into my head instead. Kingdom Hearts Keyblade was there. That was pretty freaking cool. Had some weight to it, so that was pretty fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some flimsy plastic. It was actually a nice, fairly solid thing. And then we dropped her back off at her place. Shit. I keep forgetting.
Their place.
Their place. It's an adjustment, okay?
Oh, we'll get there.
Working. I'm doing really good if you think about it.
Yeah.
Picking it up. And then the last time I stayed at their place. For multiple reasons. I just and I left them my maybe vodka. It was peppermint vodka and a very poorly, not poorly made, but not in my taste sake. It was just awful for me. Not my thing. I definitely love the sweeter one that Red owes me. Then we drink all my good sake. You did. You did. You said you'd buy me a new one.
I will buy you a new one.
I need that specific one.
Okay.
Because apparently the other stuff around here is gnarly. Not good. But I left her alcohol. I left them alcohol. For them to babysit and drink if they need to. Or want to. They're a legal drinking age, it's fine. Pretty sure Dish is older than me, actually, so maybe. Dish is a lot more accomplished than I am. Better singer than I am.
Are you just now rebelling to what she's better at than you? Because that doesn't sound like positive reinforcements to yourself. Stop.
Shut up. You were trying to imply I was a better artist than them. I'm trying to say that they are better at stuff than I am, so it all kind of equates out in my mind.
When did I say better artist than...
You were like, well, it wouldn't be good if they think, oh, you're a better artist than...
No, it's just hypothetically, because we have fucking issues of downplaying ourselves.
Fight me.
That's all I was referencing, not saying
Dish is so much better at detail than I am. that makes Dish's art better.
Okay. Whatever you say, Google.
Fight me. Dish is better.
God damn it.
Yeah, Red agrees. Dish is better. Dish. I found Dish on something that should not exist. But because it is developed into an abomination, not that it was an abomination at the start. It's a little app that I hate with a burning passion, but can't seem to get rid of because it's where I met all my friends, most of my friends. It's supposed to be an app where it was originally pitched as where you download it and you have cute little critters running across your screen. So not exactly punishable by death offense yet. And when I first showed up there was a lot of, diversity in this application because they had a pet chat. They had a chat where you guys could talk. And that's the bad part about it. In some of the different versions of it, though, they don't have that chat, which means the application is a lot better. But they had a global chat. And, well, first it started off fine, there was some children on there, and then there was more children on there, but the whole thing is don't do anything inappropriate, and let's just share cute pictures of our pets or the little critters that are, in the game doing their own cute little things, and that was fine. And then there was instances of, pedophiles using the app and doing inappropriate role plays with some children, and we're like, no, you can't, don't do that. If someone asks you to do that, don't do that. Don't do those, kiddos. Don't do that. And first, these children were very respectful, and then they're like, why are you an adult on this app? Are you one of those pedophiles? You shouldn't be here. And the app is it technically says that you must be 18 or older to use the app, unless your parents have read through and agreed to the terms of service. But no one read the terms of service, and so they think the app is for children, and it is not really, because they wanted to avoid the problem that was presented. And one of the problems, sadly, this was not the first time it happened, but one of the problems was that someone had convinced a 9-year-old to post very inappropriate pictures of herself on there. By the time the app creators, removed it, there's no doubt that it fell into the wrong hands. And so the app creators, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they didn't give a shit, really. They removed the pictures, by the way. That was removed, every single one. Because what the problem was is that they were seeing it, and then people would be screenshotting these images, and then they would share it going, ew, or why, and they were making it worse. And so they removed them, but instead of, really cracking down on what was obviously going on in this application, they just went, don't do that, okay, kids, thanks. And instead of sending us screenshots of what's going on, how about you just block them and then pretend the world is a good place? So that didn't help. Their complete poor handling of the situation and situations after didn't help. So the few adults that are still sticking on there because, they have friends on there, and as well as it's just a cute app, and a lot of them just want to post their art that they draw. Nothing wrong with those few things,
Yeah.
But we will literally be ostracized by literal fucking children because we are using an application, and if we're using that application, obviously we are doing it because we are into small children, which is not why we got the application and not why we're still on the application.
Complications.
I'm allowed to hate people. And so it's ridiculous. But I've met Dish on this app. And I can't remember specifically how. I guess I start reverting all those memories to being completely irrelevant because I know them and they're part of my life now, so I don't need to remember how. But it was most likely an art contest, to be honest. Because why wouldn't it be? I don't know. I could have met them through another friend. I could have met them through this one thing I was doing just to spite these kids that wanted. The kids on there just want to get friends that know how to draw so that they can get free art. And just basically use their friends, which I hate. So I made a whole list of things that people needed before I would be considering them for, taking up one of my precious friend slots. And one of them was you needed to be good at art, or you needed to be very creative. I don't want people that are just leeches that don't have any creativity. So you don't have to be good at art if you're very creative about it. So that's where a good portion of my friends came from. Was they were artists that were either good at art or artists that weren't quite up to par but were very creative, and that makes up for a lot. I actually would prefer you're very creative over being very good at art. Because like I said, I try to redraw their stuff because I'm not very creative in that aspect. It's possible that I met Dish that way. I did meet quite a few of them that way. I don't do that test anymore because, I've almost grown up as a person.
Almost?
Now I just don't friend anyone. Yeah, now I just don't add anyone. So kind of, but not quite grown up as a person. But people would come to me for some life advice, which I didn't mind. And they kind of just call me cat mom because I'm a mom either they didn't have or just didn't have access to, or the mom they always wanted even though they have a mom.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of cat mom all around. More passion. I talk a lot more about stuff I'm passionate about. Which I think should be the norm. If you're passionate about something, you should talk about it. Talk all about it. Right, Red?
Right.
Right.
Hi.
I'm right about a lot of
things. We're just putting up touches now.
Oh, you think you're done?
Probably not. Rude.
Yeah. You just, I'm talking, so I'm distracting myself from my art. And that's the excuse I'm running with.
Oh,
I spent a lot of my time in high school, while being coupled with doing art I also wrote a lot. I wrote a lot of stories, specifically starting like sophomore year, because that's the year I got like mega grounded by my father, and so my father took everything out of my room that wasn't furniture or clothing. He took my art supplies. He took my just room decorations. He took everything out. Kinda, yeah. It sucked. So I found, and I had some of my school supplies. Just if it looked like I used it for art, he took it. He also took a lot of my black clothing, which I never found ever again. So he threw away a lot of my clothes that he didn't like me wearing because I wore black all the time. Neat. And so I just took one of my notebooks and I'm like, well, if I draw in it, he's just going to take it away. So I started writing in it, and I wrote my first story mostly because I never finished a damn thing. It's mostly written out, and then I started writing a different story about a different character, and never finished that one either because, do I have to really reiterate, I never finished anything. It just doesn't happen, really. I'm not proud of it. It just exists. A lot of it is actually, I'm not good at writing fight scenes, and I have a little bit of action in it. Near the end, especially, that I just don't know how to write. I don't know how to write fight scenes. I'll use too many words and try to describe it too much, and it's overkill and boring. Or what I would write to shorten it down, it just sounds really half-assed and boring. I can't win. That's why there's no finished works of mine. Not that it'd go very far anyway. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to rewrite a lot of my stories, give it more clear direction, give it more life, give it more detail, give it everything I couldn't do when I was just in high school, because either I didn't have the time to do it, because I literally had to start hiding that as well, because, I'm not allowed to enjoy myself if, in my father's opinion, if I was enjoying something, there was something wrong. Unless he specifically was trying to force me to have it as a hobby. I don't know. There was some weird shit going on. But yeah, I had to hide a lot of my art. I had to hide a lot of my stories. If the only time I'd be able to start writing stuff is when I was at school, and the only time I'd be able to draw when I was at school. But then, teachers would complain because I'm drawing or during class, or I had a big project due and I didn't do it. I was instead, writing my story, as it would turn out. I had to take sacrifices on other things to do the things I enjoyed. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be such a cruel thing. There's only so many things we can actually do and enjoy in this world, and having everything you want to do and enjoy systematically taken from you is just wrong. But that's more or less what I was stuck with. And if I didn't do what my father wanted me to do, I would just be, berated, and he would tell family members, a very one-sided thing where I was intentionally not doing these things because despite him or something, which wasn't true. I just wanted to enjoy things. But there was some blatant disregard from my father. Like, my father was one of those type of people that believed that you couldn't be allergic to certain things, which, by the way, really interesting note here. You can be allergic to any fucking thing. If it exists, you can be allergic to it. There's probably been people that are allergic to water, but being considering we're mostly made of water and we need water to live, you can just assume they didn't last very long.
Oh no, it's very rare. It actually hurts to take a shower.
Well, that's when it's not a severe allergy to it.
Well, yeah.
If you're severely allergic to something that makes you up, you're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, you can be allergic to anything. My father did not believe I had allergies to some tree that was around his property. So imagine, if you will, I'm still coming with terms with I'm allergic to a tree in the state I live in. I don't know what it is, but I'm allergic to it. And I must live with this fact. Every spring. Rest in peace, me. So I was just convinced, mostly by my father, that during springtime I was just going to get chronically, sick. And I didn't have to go to school during that time, because I would be able to have my day or two off whenever that sickness would strike. But one day, senior year, during exams, during the final exam, so you can imagine how lovely that was, I had slept with my window open, with a fan in it to blow in cool air, because that's how we cooled down the place. And I woke up that morning, and I could not open my eyes. And there was a lot of crusties over it. My eyes had effectively kind of sealed themselves shut because they were reacting to the pollen that was blowing in through my window and landing on my eyes. So I had to more or less rip my eyes open, and then my eyes were all red. They were extremely irritated. And so I was in quite a bit of pain due to this because my eyes were fucking burning. And so I went to my grandmother because when I talked to my father about it, and I was like, look at this, look how awful this is. He was like, oh, I see. Well, you must be having an eye cold. You got a cold. You have a cold, obviously. Runny nose and whatnot, and you must have rubbed your eyes, and the cold transferred from your nose to your eyes. That's all it must be. So I go to my grandmother, like, can you believe this bullshittery he just said to me? And she's like, you poor thing, you have allergies. You must be allergic to some plant around here. Here, take this. Take my eye drops. I have some more. I can get some more if I don't. It's fine. You can have it. And if you like, you might not be very comfortable with it, but if you like, here are some tea bags that you can warm up and place over your eye to help with the irritation. It was just green tea, gentle. And I never did the green tea thing, but I did the eye drops, and boy, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I realized then that my father was kind of fucking stupid. He also believed that my mother was not allergic to tobacco, but then I met Fussels and realized, oh shit, you can be allergic to tobacco. And whatnot. So it was just so strange. Just kind of living with this grown idiot that felt he was right about everything, but literally knew nothing.
Yeah.
So just sometimes the adults in your life are just fucking stupid. And there's nothing you can do about it because they think they're older than you and thus smarter than you. And oh my god, I'm going back on the topic of my brother. Oh my god. Sometimes you just can't win. And with my family on that end, I just could not win.
Don't pull it out.
Because they've always felt my father was right because he was, my parent, and thus the parent is always right, and they're not. Anyone with that kind of mentality is just always going to be not right. Anyone who doesn't want to listen to what their child has to say or care about what's going on with their child is just not right. Yeah. The other thing is that I had some sort of bite. It was a spider bite, I believe. But I thought it was like a mosquito bite because it itched, so I just itched at it. And tried to squeeze, whatever, because I thought it was also a pimple at one time because lo and behold, as I messed with it, it got irritated and it swelled. And so what started out as a small mosquito bite looking thing blew up to roughly 2 times, maybe 2.5 times the size of the palm of my hand, and extended out a good 3 or 4 inches from where my leg actually was. Just a giant mound with a big red irritated middle of it. And so, well, my grandmother and my great aunt thought that I was allergic to the spider bite, which I wasn't. It was just fucking itchy and irritating. And it only blew up that big because I had scratched at it and irritated it further. My father didn't want to take me in, but he was like, "We'll go to the hospital if I have to." And I was all embarrassed and kind of tired over this entire thing. So I was like, "No, just get me some like insect cream or something so I don't have to deal with this." And he did, and it went down. But like, if your kid has a gigantic mound on the side of their leg or hip or anywhere, and it literally hurt for me to try to just take off my pants to go to the bathroom. Like, your initial response should be, let me take him to the hospital to see if, if it's infected even or something. Not, I really don't want to have to take you in. Can we just not do that instead? Let's just, put some cream on it and call it good. You know? 1 second. You're gonna have to talk, Red.
Sorry, I'm back.
You're gonna have to talk, Red.
What?
Talk about something, Red.
Oh no. Hi. When I was a kid, since we're talking about bites, I don't know where this one came from. I don't even know if it was a bite, but I had this giant, like, I don't know what it was, like this giant freaking lump on the back of my neck. And, I remember my uncle getting me cream for it because we didn't know what it was, and it went down. I still have no clue what it was. Mysteriousness. But, yeah, I kind of came into the conversation, and I think I'm done with my art here, maybe. Give the rock a little bit more textures. But no, that's what I gave her. That could work. Anyway. Textures. Save you. Oh no.
So,
Hi.
that the comet or asteroid she's on should be shaded where her legs are, where the light can't reach her, reach it. It should be a little more shaded, in my opinion. Yes, I'm buying myself more time because I've been talking this entire time and not arting as much as I should be. Anyway.
That's not as shady as I want it.
Yeah. Also, give her eyes some light, because she is looking at a star.
Yeah, I know. I'm not done yet. I was just writing out her name and stuff.
Okay, you better not. Do you want to just do this one, or have a little thing between you and me where Eventually, I'll finish this one, and then we start a new one.
I don't know, because the podcast right now is like at 2 hours. Oh, didn't mean to do that. 2 hours right now.
Well, I'm not done with mine. I was just saying, and I don't have to be done with mine. I started mine way before you started yours. What I asked was, do you want to do a little thing between you and me? It's a little separate than what I'm doing with Dish, where I draw one of the characters and you draw one of the characters, and we do a separate take.
Yeah, we could do that if you want.
Yeah, and if this is only 2 hours long and you're about done with it, I can shorten it down to a few minutes long, like how I'm going to do with mine. You know?
Yeah.
And so we would start off around the same area. Yours would already be lined out. And then I can put both of ours next to each other. And then upload a speed paint together. And we can just do that with a bunch of the characters.
Actually, one of the speed paints finished.
Yes. Yes. That's just whatever you want to do, is what I'm saying. Oh. And then the next time we start a new one, we do a podcast over it. Because my art's usually only 4 to 5 hours long is how long I take to do my art, because I don't have that kind of patience. As of right now, I have the skin tone basically done. I have most of the skin tone done, actually. I don't have any light parts of her skin, like any shines, if you will. I don't have any of that, which I'm starting now, but I have the shading of her arm done. Mm-hmm. That's all I have done right now. With some more time to it, I would be done, but we can stop this podcast, or recording at the very least, even if it's not going to be a podcast. It's going to be another failed podcast. That's fine too. Start another one of these whenever you want, unless you want to go with speed round and I just finish my shit later and you finish your shit like immediately. As it seems. And we just start the concept art and stuff for my stuff. Because like I said, I have until next Wednesday to pop out as many of these as I can. We now have a time frame.
Oh yeah, you discussed it with her?
I asked her what she wanted to do and she said next Wednesday, so we have 1 week from today for me to win, to pop out as much as I can. You making both of us anything? Yay, I'm getting food, Red. Yeah.
Aren't you lucky?
You know how to make food. Sorry, that was...
Oh, man. You know I'm limited.
I'm going to unclip this now that I have it mostly done, unless I need to... No, that looks about right. I'm going to unclip it then. That's good. I'll just clean up a little bit more, and then I had the eyes clipped over the white, the pupil of the eyes clipped over the white part of the eyes.
Yeah. So
I unclipped it, so when I now do another clipping layer, it doesn't matter anymore. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah. That was not the reference, but that's a good one too. I was doing one from Charlie the Unicorn, I think. That was what I was trying to do anyway. It was like this dinosaur, or like whatnot, and it was just talking, and it basically went rah 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 rah.
How do you like it?
I like it. I'm just mad you're done with yours before I'm done with mine.
Well, I haven't been really talking
Miss is
much.
like, yeah, exactly. That's my excuse. I remember. I've been talking, and that's why I'm not as done as you.
Yeah. It's alright. If I had more time, if I did more details to it, then...
Do it.
Yeah. Well, you have as much time as you want, because...
Really, yeah.
Because obviously I'm not done with mine, and even if I was done with mine before I was done with yours, you still need to finish yours. These aren't like you can only spend... These aren't like Drawfee. Another shout out. These aren't like Drawfee where you only have a certain amount of time to draw a certain thing. Which would be fun, but we would need more artistically inclined people to record with than just you and me.
Yeah.
For that. This isn't Drawfee. We're not professional or even close to professional artists. And so it's as long as you want to take on it. I will give up, inevitably, because I'm a wimp. And I also smell some good grilled cheese. I love me some grilled cheese. When I was a kid, my favorite foods were ice cream, pizza, and grilled cheese.
Guess what? It's still the same.
What?
Not much has changed.
And yeah, not much has changed. I haven't changed at all. I now work at a pizza place. Free pizza, baby. I'm obsessed with ice cream, specifically more of the chocolatey kind. And I enjoy having specifically enjoy having grilled cheese with some tomato soup, but someone doesn't like tomato soup.
I love tomato.
It's not you.
I know.
I don't live with you. I also like chicken Alfredo, but I'm not allowed to make that because someone doesn't like chicken Alfredo.
You can make it. I don't hate it.
What's the point of making something if you can't enjoy it with people? Punk ate the first one. Anyway, I'm still upholding my whole I am the artist who overshades things, and that's just my thing now. I like overshading nowadays. I can live with it.
She looks like she's on a poster.
If I was the troll that I aspire to be eventually, I would take your picture and then I would shrink it and put it in the background of my picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would not hesitate. But I'm not that mean. Nor am I that cool. There was also the potential for my reaction little thing, my edit reaction thing.
Yeah.
Where I would just take the picture I did for you and put it in the back of that as a poster instead of the same I came that is in the back. Same I came.
Well, you think this podcast is good?
You want to start a new one?
Dear Lord.
Hey, I told you, I have stories. I just need to remember it. I can talk out of my ass. I just need to... How about this? I eat the food that is being prepared for me. I select another character. I send you the reference to it. So you can start thinking of it. You don't start yet because that's cheating.
Is it cheating though?
So no, I'm just kidding. You have to figure it out how you want to do it on there. I have to figure out how I want to do it on paper. That's not cheating. You start. We do that, and then we start another one, and I just keep talking because I know you don't want to talk too much right now with your things going on as they are, and
I kind of want to show Dish this, but I think I also want to wait
Well, I asked Dish if it was okay if you do some art of it too, or some of her characters too.
I like the hair. I actually did really good on the hair. Usually I suck at hair.
What is that? 1 second.
And also I was kind of hoping we would play some more Dread Out. We'll play Dread Out.
Okay, but what the fuck just happened?
I don't know.
This email is just weird. It says we deposited your bonus into your account. And I'm like, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
When did I
But
get a bonus?
Yeah, it was just saying that my bank has officially started, what is it? They've increased the amount that we can withdraw from an ATM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, then why are you making it sound like you're giving me money?
You know, there was one thing I did forget. Like, looking at the picture and everything, I forgot to give her a ring around her belly.
The ring around her belly. No, you gotta do it now. Are we still going, by the way?
Yeah, it's still recording.
I do. I love how you went with the color pink and I went with the color white, the ring. That's interesting to me.
Well, I kept looking at the rings and they look kind of pinkish to me, but I can now tell that they're kind of whites, but I couldn't decide, so I just left it.
That's fine. Sharks. Huh? Oh my god. There's a lot of sharks following Heat 30. Oh no. He's playing Ark. And he's not accepting new friends because something really weird happened that I'll talk about in the next podcast as vaguely as I can. Wah, 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 wah.
Alright, here we go. There's her belly ring.
Okay. Red finished before I did. It's probably going to be a theme. So we will end this podcast here. I will eat, and then let's start a new one. Let's do a new one, and then after that we will record Dread Out.
You're not gonna be too tired?
Considering I woke up at like 2:00, no.
Okay.
I slept. I slept good. As much as what? Good. His game keeps freezing and he doesn't know why. So we hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah. The rantings of one person while the other one shows you visuals.
Let us know if you'd rather see Sims playing in the back or see us doing art. If you want longer ones, that most likely will have to be put up on YouTube. We'll put Sims in the back if you want some shorter ones and listen to some ramblings or some stories from yours truly, Koneko here. Then we'll just do some art. Seems like a good probably having Red as our timer. Okay. Probably what's going to happen. And then Red, if you'll take over the outro of this.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys like my art. It's slowly improving as I go along, if I actually trust in myself and my art. But anyways, I know there's probably a lot of things that need to be fixed in this drawing, but I'm mostly proud of the hair. I'm pretty proud of the hair. But we will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you can sit through a long outro, not outro, long podcast. I was gonna say outro. What a dork. Anyways, ring that bell, like the button. And
Like the button.
And be the redlings that you are.
Hell yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.